Hey everyone, it's Misty, and I want to welcome you to our Creative Weekly Wisdom. Today's episode is going to be about creating little bows with your We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board. I know I've done a lot of different things with this, and I do have more things to even show you. This thing is really amazing. Now, I don't do a lot of bows, but I like the fact that you can create a few different size bows with your original punch board. So if you don't have the 3-in-1 punch board or the bow punch board, you can still enjoy these cute little bows, and these are really nice for like packaging because of how big they are or a really big project. So this one here is a 1 inch. So this is about as small as you can go. So if you're looking to make like tinier bows, you would probably need the actual bow punch board or the 3-in-1 punch board, or even dies, because this one won't go any smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create this size and then one size up from that. So we're going to start with a 1 inch strip by 7 1/4. So I just have regular cardstock. Thin paper I wouldn't use for this, but general cardstock works really nice. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our first measurement, which is halfway in between your measurements. So if you have a longer piece and you're trying to come up with your own measurements to make your own size, just start with the halfway point. So this is 7 1/4, so the halfway is going to be 3 5/8. So we're just going to line that up and then punch, and then we're going to flip and punch one more time. Now the second measurement is going to be your outer two sides, and that one is going to be 1 1/2. And then we're just going to flip and then punch one more time. And then we're going to go ahead and flip it over and do the other side. Okay, next we're going to do our ends. You can also start with this this process here before you do the rest if you wanted to, but I'm going to do it at the end. And what I'm going to do is, you can see your little punched area right here. This is the only part that I'm not crazy about, is because you have to eyeball it. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to make that center area in the center of this. So if you just eyeball it, you should be okay. If it's a tiny bit off, it's not going to make that much of a deal. It still looks really cute. And all you're doing is creating your little flag piece at the end. Now alternatively, if you wanted to just take scissors and do this, you can do that too. But I like the shape that this one creates. So I'm just going to eyeball that, punch it. Now the next is assembling our bow, and I like this because it's just one strip. You don't have multiple pieces, which a lot of dies you end up having multiple pieces, and I'm just not into that. So what I'm going to take is the back of a paintbrush. Any paintbrush will work, or a marker, or anything that's round. I think a paintbrush works really well for this. And then you're just going to stick it underneath your thumb, and you're just going to curve it. If you've ever curled ribbon with scissors, this is basically the same concept. You're just going to create, and that's what's going to create that the really pretty curved part of the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and just repeat that on the opposite side. And you want to really curve it. Give it a lot of... Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add adhesive. You're just going to add adhesive into that center part right there. Any adhesive will work, but you do want strong adhesive. You can create like the little tape, or you can use your tape runner. Liquid adhesive works, hot glue works. Okay, so now we're going to take this little section right here, and we're just going to place our thumb and kind of just make it curve in a little bit. You don't need to do anything other than this. This is just enough. And then what we're going to do is we're going to meet this halfway on this bottom side. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's my adhesive. Here's this part, and you're going to just fold it in. And basically when you're on this side, You just want everything to line up so that you don't see any of the under parts. And that's how you know you got it in the right spot. But you're only going to go halfway in, press firmly, and then repeat on the other side. And then just press firmly. And then there you have it. You have this really cute bow. And then you can do what I did, and I just took a little flat back pearl here and hot glued it in the center. So that's this size of bow. Like I said, it's actually really simple, so I really like the way this comes out, and this creates a very nice bow. Now if you have this problem as well, if it does this, just put a teeny bit of glue right at the very base of it, and that will keep this flat from constantly going back. But it also will be fine once you glue it down to your project. So the next size we have here, let me go ahead and zoom out again for you. The next size we have is, this is a 10" by 1". Now alternatively, you could make this wider than 1". Same measurements, 10", but make it wider, and that'll really increase the size of your bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what the measurements for the punch is for the 10". Since it's 10", we're going to go 5 inches in at the halfway mark. We're going to flip it. We're going to do 5 inches again. Then we're going to go ahead and do our ends, which will be at 2 inches. We're going to flip it. We're going to do 2 inches again. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. 2 inches, flip, and 2 inches. And then we're going to go ahead and create the little flags on the end of our strip. We're just going to eyeball that and then punch. Now you can see this one's a little bit off, but once it's assembled you cannot really tell. That's why I said it's just eyeball it, it's okay. It don't have to be that perfect. So we're going to eyeball that one more time and punch it. And then we're going to go ahead and burnish our bow. Now because this strip is longer, you can see how much longer the actual bow part is, which is really nice. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Do it to the other side. I think the more you do, the nicer, smoother bow you have. So then we're just going to go ahead and add the adhesive to the bottom part on the inside. Now I would actually add a stronger adhesive if I had the time and wasn't doing the tutorial. I would put down like red sticky tape because it's a lot stronger, like the kind of that you have to peel off. You would use like when you make boxes and stuff. That's what I would use on this because it does tend to move and pull up some. So now we're just going to go ahead and push that in, meet halfway, make sure the front kind of lines up, press that in, and then do the other side. And then we're just going to press everything in for just a few seconds, make sure it's all really adhered down. And then you have a larger bow, and of course you can fluff it up more if you need to. So this bow, and then you have this bow, and you can see how much larger that one is. And we didn't change the width, all we changed was the length. So if you want to make this even larger, same length but just wider, it will look much more bigger, even though you're not changing a lot of the dimensions. You would do the same for all your points of punch. So these are the two bows, and I will also have all the supplies I used down below. So you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys tune in next Saturday for another Creative Weekly Wisdom. Bye!